Brittney Griner just got fired by the NBA, not the WNBA. Not a suspension, not a fine. She was straight up dropped after a courtside mic caught her calling Caitlin Clark a trash white girl during a heated exchange. The fallout? Immediate, brutal, and telling. Adam Silver, in a rare crossover moment, stepped in from the NBA side and made it crystal clear. Hate speech, especially the racially charged kind, has no place in professional basketball.
If you're here for the real story and not the filtered version, subscribe. And if you're sticking around for the next meltdown, you better definitely subscribe.
That should have been the end of it. But here's where it gets messy. The WNBA said nothing. Not a tweet, not a press conference. Silence. The optics? Disastrous. You have the league's biggest rising star, Caitlin Clark, constantly taking elbows, verbal jabs, and coded hostility on the court, while keeping it clean, professional, and unbothered. She's pulling record viewership, elevating the sport, and becoming a cultural flashpoint in real time. Meanwhile, Griner, already a polarizing figure thanks to her international arrest and the high-profile prisoner swap, is back in headlines for all the wrong reasons. And the internet did not hold back. Accusations of racial double standards lit up the timeline. Some argued that the roles had been reversed. If Clark had made that same comment, her career might have been over. Instead, the league is now being accused of protecting a veteran player at the expense of its future. And that's before you even touch the firestorm of resurfaced conspiracy theories about Griner's gender identity, which only made the silence from officials louder. The truth is, this isn't just a scandal, it's an unraveling. The league that's fought so hard for legitimacy, equity, and visibility is now being questioned for protecting its own at the expense of consistency. Fans are noticing. Sponsors are watching. And the person still carrying the entire brand on her back? Caitlin Clark, unfazed, still showing up and showing out, despite being repeatedly targeted. Griner's comments may have lit the fuse, but it's the league's response, or total lack of one, that's exposing cracks that can't be patched with PR spin. This isn't just about one player saying something ugly. It's about what happens when institutions pick silence over accountability and watch credibility go up in smoke. Brittney Griner just got fired. Again. And this time, it's not because of international politics or foreign government, but because she allegedly called Caitlin Clark a trash white girl during a heated moment on the court. Yep, you heard that right. One of the WNBA's most prominent names just got hit with the ultimate career penalty, not by the WNBA, but by the NBA, stepping in where the women's league stayed silent. This is the part where you start asking, wait, what's going on with the WNBA? Why is the NBA the one cleaning up the mess? Let's rewind. Brittney Griner has always been a polarizing figure. Talented, powerful, and never far from headlines. From dominating on the court to getting arrested in Russia and becoming the centerpiece of a high-stakes prisoner swap, Griner's name hasn't left the news cycle for years. But now, she's back in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. It all exploded when footage surfaced of Griner allegedly referring to Caitlin Clark as a trash white girl. And no, this wasn't whispered under her breath or caught on a hot mic. It was in the heat of the game, loud enough for cameras and fans to pick up. The reaction? Instant outrage. Social media blew up. Sports analysts scrambled. And fans, especially Clark's fans, wanted answers. But while the NBA acted swiftly, firing Griner and releasing a hard-line statement against hate speech and unprofessional conduct, the WNBA said, nothing. Not a press release. Not a tweet. Not even a vague, we're looking into it. Total silence. Now let's be honest. This isn't just about one offensive remark. This is about the glaring double standards that have been hanging over the league like a thundercloud. Because this isn't the first time Clark has taken hits, both physically and verbally, and the league has turned the other cheek. Let's talk about Caitlin Clark for a second. Rookie of the Year, MVP, ratings magnet. Her games are pulling in viewership numbers the WNBA hasn't seen in years. She's electrified the sport, brought in new fans, and sparked a cultural moment for women's basketball. She's passionate, intense, and yes, emotional on the court. And for that, she's been shoved, bumped, and trash-talked like a public enemy. And yet, through it all, She keeps her cool. While the league stands by quietly, Clark keeps playing, keeps grinding, keeps pulling crowds. But when someone calls her a racial slur on national television, that's when you'd expect the WNBA to step in. And still, crickets. It took the NBA, yes, the NBA, to do something. Commissioner Adam Silver fired Griner from any association within the NBA umbrella. Let that sink in. A league Griner technically isn't even a part had to be the one to say, enough, and it gets worse. Because as soon as the Griner drama flared up, the internet dug deeper. Old conspiracy theories about Griner's gender identity started surfacing again. People questioned her appearance, her physique, her voice. It got ugly fast. And again, no leadership from the WNBA to shut it down or defend their player from that noise. So now we're in this messy limbo. Griner's out of the NBA ecosystem. The WNBA is pretending none of this is happening. Caitlin Clark is still the league's biggest draw, still getting knocked around without a word of support. And fans? They're over it. People are calling it what it is. Bias. Hypocrisy. A complete failure of leadership. Because let's flip the script. Let's say the roles were reversed. If Caitlin Clark had said anything remotely racially offensive about Griner or any black player, she'd be done, suspended, maybe blacklisted, and the WNBA would release 3 statements, held a press conference, and probably force an apology tour. But when it's Clark on the receiving end, just vibes. There's no gray area here. A professional player calling another a trash white girl is not just trash talk. It's racist and it's sexist. And it's unacceptable no matter who says it. But it's not just about what Griner said. It's about the pattern. Clark is the kind of player who's changing the sport. She's dragging the league into the mainstream, like it or not. And every time she makes a move, there's pushback. You can feel the resentment. She's been body-checked on the court, targeted in games, dismissed in press conferences. And all the while, the league shrugs it off like this is just part of the game. Newsflash, it's not. The league has a responsibility to protect all its players, especially the ones putting the WNBA on the map. Clark is bringing in record numbers, major endorsements, and younger fans. She's doing the heavy lifting, and they can't even give her basic support when she's publicly insulted. And while all of this is spiraling, Griner's past comes crashing back into the conversation. Let's not forget, this is the same Brittney Griner who got arrested in Russia for drug possession. That arrest turned into a global spectacle, and eventually, a prisoner swap involving an arms dealer. It was a geopolitical circus that had nothing to do with basketball and everything to do with international leverage. So when Griner steps back into the court and drops a racial insult on a teammate, fans don't see it as an isolated incident. They see the pattern, the history, the baggage, and the league's not holding her accountable. That's what really makes it sting. And then there are the rumors, the gender conspiracies, the online theories that just won't die. It's toxic and uncomfortable, but it's real, and the league not addressing any of it only fuels the fire. All of this points to one thing. The WNBA isn't leading. It's reacting. Barely. The NBA had to step in and say, this isn't who we are. Meanwhile, the WNBA is stuck in a feedback loop of bad optics and missed opportunities. They're letting their biggest star take hits while defending the indefensible, or worse, saying nothing at all. And that silence, it's costing them fans. It's costing them respect. Because when fans see this kind of chaos, racial insults, zero accountability, one-sided discipline, they start checking out. And that's dangerous for a league that just started catching mainstream momentum. Let's be clear. Clark is not a victim. She's an athlete. She's proving that with every three-pointer and buzzer beater. But even the toughest athletes need backup. When the league refuses to even acknowledge what's happening, it sends one message loud and clear. You're on your own. And that's not just bad leadership. It's bad business. Because this isn't just a controversy. It's a crossroads. Do we want a league that protects its players equally, regardless of race, status, or popularity? Or do we want a league that caves under pressure, hides from controversy, and lets hypocrisy call the shots? The NBA made its choice. It stood for something. The WNBA? Still waiting. This whole saga is a reminder that actions matter, words matter, leadership matters. And while the fans are watching Caitlin Clark break records, they're also watching how the league treats her. They see the slurs. They see the bruises. They see the silence. It's not just a bad look. It's a leadership vacuum. And let's not pretend this all blows over. Because fans remember. Sponsors remember. And Clark's rise isn't slowing down. If anything, it's shining a brighter light on every flaw the league's been trying to ignore. So here we are. One player fired. Another still standing. Still playing. Still carrying the sport. And a league that has a choice to make. Fast. Are they going to stand up for fairness and integrity? Or keep hiding behind PR silence while their biggest star does all the work? Only time will tell. But fans, you're not powerless. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that subscribe button and let us know where you stand. The league needs to hear it. From all of us. Because if we want better, we have to demand better. Let's see who listens. It shouldn't have to come to this. It shouldn't take a viral clip, fan outrage, and the NBA stepping in to get even a hint of accountability. This is professional sports. There are rules. There are standards. Or at least there should be. And yet, here we are, watching a league try to protect its image by pretending nothing happened. The irony? The very person they're ignoring is the one saving them. Caitlin Clark isn't just another rookie. She's the moment. She's the reason people who never watched a WNBA game in their life are now tuning in. She's breaking attendance records, selling out arenas, moving merch like she's the second coming of Steph Curry. But instead of protecting her like the valuable asset she is, the league lets her take hit after hit on the court, in the media, and now from her own peers. And the timing of it all couldn't be worse. Women's basketball is finally at a tipping point. People are paying attention. Sponsors are showing up. Networks are giving them prime time slots. This is the kind of exposure the WNBA has been begging for decades. And what do they do with it? Let one of their marquee players publicly insult the league's most bankable star and pretend like it didn't happen. Let's give out the Clown Car Management Award to the WNBA front office for this one. Because you can't build a future while ignoring the present. And yet, somehow, they're doing both. Fans aren't stupid. They see the imbalance. When certain players get protected, while others get punished for just existing, it creates resentment. It breaks trust. And once that trust is gone, it's real hard to get it back. Now here's where things get especially murky. You got people saying, oh, but it's just trash talk. Really? Since when is racism just part of the game? Since when is calling someone a trash white girl acceptable in any context? Especially when it's coming from a player who represents the league on a global level. And don't get it twisted. This isn't about defending Clark because she's white. It's about defending any player from targeted hate speech. Because what's the message otherwise? That racism's okay if it goes in a certain direction? That some players are allowed to say whatever they want and others get crucified for less? There's a name for that, a double standard, and the fans are done with it. You look at Caitlin Clark's career so far, and it's clear she's being held to a different standard. Every expression on her face gets analyzed. Every moment of frustration gets dissected like it's a national emergency. And somehow, she's the one called entitled, arrogant, a problem. Meanwhile, the same people body-checking her in-game, talking trash with zero consequences, and throwing racial slurs around, they're getting defended, praised for playing tough. It's almost like success is a threat. Like the minute a player breaks the mold, becomes bigger than the league, the old guard starts to panic. And what do people do when they panic? They attack. And that's exactly what this looks like, a coordinated cultural backlash against a person who's changing everything. But let's take a breath here, because what about Griner? Look, nobody's denying Brittney Griner's legacy. She's a 7-time All-Star. She's done incredible things for the game. And yes, she's been through hell, especially with the Russia situation. That whole ordeal was terrifying and tragic. But being a survivor of injustice doesn't give you a pass to create injustice. She's not above criticism, especially not when her words cross the line from competitive to straight-up discriminatory. The uncomfortable truth is that Brittney Griner's legacy is now split down the middle. On one side, you have her undeniable athletic contributions. On the other, you have a growing list of controversies, legal issues, and now a racially charged insult that could taint her career permanently. And the real kicker? The league had a chance to defend both of them, to say, this behavior is unacceptable no matter who you are. But instead, they stayed silent and let the NBA take the hit for them. Where's the leadership? This could have been a moment of unity, a chance for the WNBA to step up, make a statement, show that they hold all their players accountable equally. But they didn't, and now they look weak, complicit, lost. Meanwhile, Clark keeps showing up night after night, proving she's not going anywhere, that she's not just a media sensation, but a problem. For every team she faces and every narrative that tries to drag her down, and fans are noticing. There's a reason her jersey keeps selling out. There's a reason people are chanting her name. There's a reason she's the face of women's sports in 2025. It's not just her game, it's her composure. The fact that she gets disrespected constantly and still walks back on the court with her head up, and the league can either support that or lose everything she's built for them. Because here's the ugly truth. You don't get many Caitlin Clarks. Players who transcend the sport, who capture the public imagination, who make headlines and highlight reels. If the WNBA lets her burn out, lets her get pushed out by unchecked aggression and silence, they're not just losing a star, they're losing their future. And while we're at it, let's talk about the fans, the people who fill the arenas, the ones who bought into the WNBA's promise of progress, inclusion, and equality. You can't market that message and then turn around and ignore real-time discrimination. You can't say we stand with women and then abandon the one who's carrying the league. It's hypocrisy. It's cowardice. And it's exactly why people don't trust institutions anymore. It's also why the NBA is now the grown-up in the room. Adam Silver didn't hesitate. He saw the footage. He heard the backlash. He made a call. And whether you agree with the decision or not, at least he made one. And let's not pretend it didn't matter. The NBA firing Griner sent a signal, not just the players, but the fans, media, and corporate partners. It said, we don't play when it comes to hate speech. And that kind of clarity is powerful. So now the pressure's on. The spotlight is blazing. And the WNBA has no more room to dodge. Are they going to issue a statement? Are they going to address Griner's comments? Are they going to support Clark publicly? Or are they going to keep hoping it all dies down? Because if it's the latter, good luck keeping those new fans. Good luck convincing sponsors that the league's serious about integrity. Good luck building a brand on silence and spin. This is about more than just one game, one insult, one moment. It's about trust. And the WNBA's running out of it. And here's the final twist. Clark doesn't need the protection to keep thriving. She's already bigger than the league. But the league needs her. Desperately. Because without her, the spotlight dims. The ratings drop. The cultural conversation moves on. And that's the quiet part the league doesn't want to say out loud. So as fans, this is where we come in. We can't just watch. We have to say something. Call it out. Demand answers. Because leagues don't change unless the people watching force them to. Let them know the silence isn't acceptable. Let them know you see the double standards. Let them know that accountability isn't optional. It's the bare minimum. Because this moment, this is a test. Not just of the WNBA's values, but of whether sports can be more than just entertainment. Whether they can be a place where fairness, respect, and equality actually mean something. This should have been a victory lap for the WNBA. A chance to ride the wave of momentum Caitlin Clark created. To finally prove the league is ready for prime time. Instead, they fumbled. Hard. Think about it. Women's basketball is finally getting the recognition it deserves. For the first time in years, sports headlines aren't just about the NBA playoffs or NFL drama. They're about Clark's 30-point games, buzzer beaters, and jaw-dropping assists. She's not just playing in the spotlight. She is the spotlight. And what does the league do when that spotlight starts to expose cracks? They turn away, stay silent, hope no one notices. But we noticed. Everyone did. You can't have it both ways. You can't cash in on Caitlin Clark's popularity, plaster her face on every promo, push her into every interview, and then disappear when she's a target of verbal abuse. That's not support. That's exploitation. And while the WNBA tiptoes around the issue, trying not to upset the old guard or rock the boat, the fans are doing the math. They're seeing who gets protected and who gets punished, who gets headlines and who gets hushed. The message is loud and clear. Some players are untouchable. Others are disposable. And the ones bringing in the most attention, they better stay quiet, smile through the chaos, and take the hits without flinching. But here's what the league forgot. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's a symbol of a new era, of a league that could finally break through. And the way she's being treated is not just a bad look. It's a warning sign. Because if this is how the WNBA treats its biggest star, what hope is there for the next one? Young athletes are watching this unfold. Sponsors are watching. Future fans are watching. And they're all asking the same thing. Is this the league we want to support? The NBA answered that question. Fast. Adam Silver didn't need a social media campaign or a trending hashtag. He made the call, did the job, and sent a message. The WNBA, still waiting, still avoiding, still hoping the storm passes without blowing the whole house down. But storms don't just pass. They expose weak foundations. And right now, this league's foundation is cracking. So what happens next? That's on them. But here's what you can do. Keep the pressure on. Don't let the story die in the algorithm. Talk about it. Comment. Demand better. Because if fans stay silent, the league will too. And if the WNBA wants to be taken seriously, it's time they start acting like it. Accountability isn't an attack. It's a standard. So let's hold them to it.